Hello everybody, what's up? It's Bex, and today we are not doing OU finally. We're finally getting into the Draft League battles, and so we're gonna start off with my Week 1 battle against Toady Hody or the London Lux Rays. So let's get started with Toady Hody's Mons, and let's see, what they got, what they're bringing to the table. All right, so first up we got Celesteela. For sure a super annoying one to deal with. You have that defensive set with Leaf Seed, Flamethrower, Heavy Slam Protect. That's like the standard defensive set. But Celesteela can run a lot of other stuff too. You can run something like a Power Herb Meteor Beam set with Autotomize. You can even just run straight up Weakness Policy because Celesteela is really bulky. You can take any super effective hit usually, and yeah. So Celesteela is very versatile. Have to respect that. Like, the one weakness to it is that it's slow, but like, it can fix that issue with Autotomize, as I said. And just having that defensive set is more than enough usually just to like stall out teams. The Steel Flying is very good defensive typing. Leaf Seed helps you chip down a lot of foes. It's very, very solid Pokemon. And it's got a lot of coverage moves as well. Earthquake, it's got fire moves, it's got rock moves, grass moves. Like, it's got pretty much anything you would want. So, very solid pick by Toady Hody. I think it's superpower, like, goddamn. Anyway, next up, we got Hydreigon. Also a pretty versatile mon. Can run a variety of different sets, ranging from like a Nasty Plot Life Orb set, right? You have decent coverage on the special side. You got dragon moves, so for example, like Draco Meteor. You got Dark Pulse, obviously. You got Flash Cannon, Earth Power, a lot of different stuff. Fire moves as well. Focus Blast too. You want to do that. You can even run physical sets. Those probably work a lot better in Draft League formats because it's a surprise factor and whatnot. It gets Dragon Dance. It has a decent physical move pool at least. Crunch, Iron Tail, probably some Dragon move. I don't know. It's got decent coverages. It's got Head Smash too. I know a lot of people use that to like beat stuff like Mandibuzz. So it's got that. Also, it's got Roost as well, and you can run defensive sets too. It gets Default, it gets Roost. It's decently bulky. 90s across the board pretty much, and Levitate helps it switch on a ground type. So yeah, it's pretty good. Next up, we got Infernape. Very, very good offensive mon. Can hit from both sides of the spectrum because of its good mix of attacking stats. You can run a variety of different offensive sets. You can run Nasty Plot, you can run Swords Dance, you can run Scarf, Choice Band, Choice Specs. Literally, like, any offensive item, and like, it just works. You can probably do some fun stuff in Endeavor and Encore and stuff like that as well. And its offensive variety makes it really good at setting rocks against like more defensive teams. Like if you're switching in. Okay, I'm not gonna explain, but like, it's a good offensive rocker as well. Just because like it exudes so much offensive pressure due to its good stabs and good coverage that you're afraid. You don't want to stay in, so it gets rocked up pretty easily. Next up we got Seismitoad, a good defensive rocker. Water Absorb is really nice for his team. Having a water absorbing mon is pretty good. Has Swift Swim too if you want to try some sort of manual rain stuff. But standard set, probably just like, good stealth rocker with knockoff as well, which is always good in draft league formats. Being able to remove items is really good. It's a really good idea just because like a lot of people would try to run, like weakness berries and try to live some stuff and whatnot. Getting access to Skull as well is really good. Spreading Burns is really nice. Earth Power is great. Blah blah blah. It gets Grass Knot to cover against other waters. It gets Ice moves as well, somewhat to cover against some grass types, which would be its normal weakness. It gets you can throw on Rindo Berry if you want to try to attack against some certain grasses. It gets Refresh too. Honestly, yeah, I used Seismitoad my last draft league I was in, so it's pretty good. And then for the offensive Swiss Swim set, you got Weather Ball, Focus Blast, Hydro Pump, Earth Power. Very good physical, very good special side. It's also good on the physical side as well. I'm just more familiar with the special side. Gardevoir Mega's next. Trace is already a good ability for regular Gardevoir. You can just see what type of abilities people are running, and like you can do stuff like switch it on a Heat Ram to take a Magma Storm, because you have Trace Flash Fire, You can intimidate a Landorus that has come in already, you know, stuff like that. And then once it gets to Mega, you know, it's obviously very, very strong Pokemon, 165 base special attack. 100 base speed means it's a decent wall breaker. Hyper Voice is going to be very, very strong. You can run a variety of different sets. You can run stuff like Wisp, Wish, Heal Bell, Calm Mind, all that stuff. It has decent coverage moves as well with Energy Ball and Focus Blast. You know, it's moving. It even gets Knockoff. Would you be like, why would you use Knockoff on a weak mon like this? It works. It works. And 85 attack's not that bad. But like, you know, you're obviously not using it for offensive pressure. You're using it just to get rid of items, which is, you know, it could be decent. It gets like Memento, Mystical Fire, obviously. I forgot to mention that in terms of coverage, but yeah, it gets that. Pain Split, it's got good moves. Trick Room as well, if you want to try that. Although its speed probably makes it not very good for a Trick Room candidate. Next up, we got Donphan. Pretty good mon. Sturdy, very good defensively, has good attack as well. Defensively, when I say defensively on the physical side, it's good defensively. You know, special side, you know, leaves a little bit to be desired, just because, you know, 60 base special defense isn't very good. But it has a decent coverage move. You know, Earthquake, Knockoff. It gets Ice Shard to deal with like stuff like Garchomp and Landorus Therian. It gets Gunk Shot to deal with Grasses, all that good stuff. Head Smash for flying types. It could be really good offensively, but you know, it's also good as a rocker and a spinner. It's a really good spinner. So yeah. Alright, moving on. We got Regieleki. This is the all or nothing mon. If your opponent has a ground type, you need to prepare against it. Otherwise, you get to spam Thunder, you know, Thunderbolt and Volt Switch all day long. Yeah, that's basically Regieleki in a nutshell. You know, you can run like Acrobatics, I guess, if you want to try to do some sort of physical stuff to deal with grass types, but like, just freaking Volt Switch on them, bro. Your respect Volt Switches are doing a lot of damage. But yeah, Regieleki's pretty good in Draft League, just because like there just could be some people who don't draft electric communities. And I think in my last Draft League video, like I think I went over some people who don't have electric communities, so they're gonna have fun trying to deal with Regieleki. Yeah, and if it gets explosion, it gets spin. You can set up screens with it as well. Yeah, so very decent mono all around. Has some good utility as well as some good offense. But it's very, very frail, so you're gonna have to keep an eye out for that. Aurorus is next. Oh, that's not Aurorus. I read the next Pokemon without looking. But yeah, next up is Vileplume. Very good, solid defensive bond. With Effect Spore, you know, you get to have that chance of doing poison, paralysis, or sleep. You know, you get access to Sleep Powder, you get access to Strength Sap, which is probably one of the best recovery moves in general. Even against like special attackers, like you still get a lot of health from it, at least for the first time. You know, you get 100% accurate Toxics, I guess. I don't know. You probably have, you know, you have Leech Seed, you have Synthesis. Do you have Synthesis? Yeah, you do. You also have Moonlight too, but they're both basically the same thing, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so just a good defensive bond overall, all around, all that type of stuff. Yeah, that's about all I just want to say. Alright, next up we got Aurorus. So Refrigerate is also, you know, pretty cool. You know, you get to have those boosted hyper voices and whatnot. But you know, the main draw for it is for Snow Warning, you know, setting up Hail, especially for the next mon that we're going to talk about. Gets access to Aurora Veil as well with Generation 8, so you know, I can do that. But you know, its problems as a Rock Ice type is just, you know, weak to a lot of mons, which is a problem. It is decently bulky though, so it can probably take some hits. But yeah, you know, decent Veil setter probably, especially for draft leagues, and it's decently strong as well. You know, you can't really just finagle around it. You know, you don't want to switch into, you know, Blizzard and Freeze Dry and Earth Power and all that type of stuff. Even gets Discharge too. Does it get T-Bolt? It does get Thunderbolt, so yeah. Yeah, so that. Sandslash is next. Obviously, you're going to be using this for Slush Rush. Pokemon Speed gets double when Hail's active, so, you know, obviously a very nice combo with Aurorus. And it's very scary offensively, you know, it's not that fast, but, you know, Slush Rush, you know, it's going to be decently fast. And, you know, it's not, some, like, draft leagues might have, like, some draft teams might have problems dealing with such fast mons, you know, like, they probably don't have, like, some teams probably don't have some sort of thing that's, like, faster than it. usually. You know, you have to run like a very fast Scarf Mon in order to outspeed it or something like that. You know, very scary Mon. You know, you can run like triple axle with Widelands if you wanted to make it like as accurate as possible. It's still not completely accurate, but it makes it from 90% times 90% cubed to 99% cubed, which is, you know, a lot more accurate. I'm not going to do the math right now, but yeah, you know, it gets access to triple axle, Iron Head. Steel Ice is already pretty hard to switch into, and then combined with Earthquake makes it really hard to switch into. You can also run stuff like Knockoff to deal with some bulky waters that are part psychic, you know, such as Slowbro or Starmie. So yeah, very solid one. And Steel Ice is markedly better than Rock Ice just because, you know, you're part Steel. You get a lot more resistance without typing. His last mon is Persian. And yeah, it's a Persian. Yeah, I don't know. Not much to talk about here. Technician could be interesting. You could try to run some nasty plot sets with that, but it's not super amazing. I don't expect him to bring it too many times. It's Limber as well, I guess. This thing probably has some good utility that I'm not thinking about right now, though, to be fair. You know, I guess Knockoff is there. Maybe it gets, like, Switcheroo. It does get Switcheroo, so you can probably, like, trick stuff with, like, a Scarf or a Choice Band, or... Yeah, it doesn't get Klutz, though, so you can't trick, like, Assault Fence or anything like that. Yeah. If this was a Alolan Persian, I'd be a lot more hyped about it, but it's not, so... yeah, that's his team right now. So, what I expected him to bring... I 100% expected him to bring Celesteela, Hydreigon, and Infernape. I think those are, like, the main stars of his team. I also expected to bring his Mega, because, like, everyone was going to bring their Mega. And then, so basically, after that, I had a decision to make. So, either he was going to I thought either he was going to draft Regieleki plus one of the ground types, or he's going to draft Aurorus plus Sandslash. So, like, either he's going to go for a more defensive approach or a more offensive approach. Well, I mean, Regieleki's not very defensive, but, like, you know, with the ground type plus, they're like, yeah, it's a little bit more defensive than all-out attacking with Hail. So, I prepped for both, kind of. I prepped a little bit less for the Hail thing, because I didn't think he would try to go for that Hail offense, like, maximum offense type of thing. So, what I decided to do with my team, so this is the team that I used. So first off, we got Gravity Landorus. You know, obviously, I was seeing that Celesteela. I was looking at my team like, man, I really don't have a lot of things to deal with it. So I got to pull up the text week 1. So, you know, we got to bring Gravity Landorus. You know, gets to ignore that flying typing and smack it with a super effective Earthquake. This EV spread is very interesting. I know it was for something, but I don't remember it anymore. So, yeah. The speed is enough to outspeed an offensive, an Adamant Sandslash Alola without Hail. So, there's that. I don't remember what the rest of this was for. I know it was for something, though. I think maybe, like, yeah, I honestly don't know. Anyway, so I just ran Knockoff and U-turn, just, you know, have some pivoting, have some Knockoff, just getting rid of items and whatnot, that's good. Leftovers is there as well. Next up, we got a pretty standard run and wash, except I have double status. You know, I wanted to make sure to punish the if he was going to bring Toad, I wanted to punish that as much as possible. I was considering bringing Ring Target Trick, but, like, that means, like, my Rotom-Watch is wholly dependent on him, like, bringing Toad. And then I can just, you know, Ring Target Trick it. Like, I didn't want to do that. Especially since he could try to outplay it as well. Like, you know, he doesn't have to switch in Seismitoad every single time I bring in Rotom-Wash. So, you know, he saw stuff like Hydreigon and whatnot to switch in, because they resist both stabs, you know, it takes a whiz pretty well. So, you know, I was like, you know, fuck it, I'm just gonna run Toxic. Toxic is decent enough for Seismitoad anyways, so yeah. I think this spread allows me to live two Choice Scarf close combats from Infernape, because I was expecting either Infernape or Hydreigon to be Scarfed, and if a Scarf Infernape, I was able to take these 2 close combats and then Hydro Pump it to death, whatever. Wisp was there for Alolan Sandslash, because, like, I definitely needed it for that. It's also good for Celesteela as well, because, you know, I can't Toxic it. So yeah. Next up, we got Colbur Bronzong. This is just, like, one of my helps against Hydreigon. You know, if I can take that Dark Pulse, I can Iron Defense up, Body Press, you know, all that stuff. I don't think it killed, if I remember correctly, but it would do a lot of damage, such as like to the point where like maybe like Rocks would just finish off the job for like a weekend Hydreigon like that. Obviously, this is also my Mega Gardevoir check. Steel Psychic, resist both Steel and Fairy, and with Heat Proof, I would be able to take Physical Fires for days, and I had Gyro Ball to help deal with Mega Gardevoir as well. I just ran Psychic Blast because Heat Proof also helps against Infernape, and so if I had Iron Defenses up, Infernape couldn't really do much. I could Psychic, do a lot of damage that way. Wasn't gonna kill, but it was gonna do a lot of damage. Next up, obviously, I'm gonna have to bring the Mega Beedrill. I ran enough speed to outspeed his Infernape, which is his fastest Mon, unboosted. And I decided to run a substitute set, so I had U-turn still to like bluff that I wasn't substitute, but like Poison Jab and Knockoff were more than enough to deal with most of his team for the most part. Like Knockoff's my best move against Celesteela, for example. Poison Jab is like two-shotting Hydreigon anyways. Poison Jab is gonna one-shot Infernape, a non-defense, like no HP invested Infernape or whatever. So there's that, and I ran Adamant too because hell yeah, I need to run Adamant. Get as much damage as I can, bro. Next up, we got Diancie. The Berry lets it check Hydreigon pretty well. Well, at least 1v. Yeah, check. Not count. Check. Because checking means you can beat it 1v1. Countering means you can switch in and beat it 1v1. And obviously, Diancie can't switch into Flash Cannons. Even with the Berry, it's going to do like 40%, and then the next one's going to kill me. So, yeah. But, I can absorb the Dark and Dragon moves that Hydreigon might want to go for. I got Moonblast to kill it, obviously. Diamond Storm, just because it's stab. Decent hit against Celesteela as well. It does around 30%, which is decent. Gyro Ball is there for Mega Gardevoir. Don't want that thing to stay in on my Diancie or whatever. And I have Stealth Rock because, we got to have rocks. We got to have rocks. Obviously. Last up, we got Hoopa. So my Choice Banded, it's just gonna kill everything, or at least that's what I was hoping for. So I decided to run Choice Band this week just because like Choice Band Hyperspace Sphere is just gonna do a lot. I could have run Special as well, but this is actually my first time using Hoopa, so I'm just trying to stick with like the more standard sets. So we got Hyperspace Fury. Obviously, he's gonna do a lot of damage. 100 base power, 100% accurate, and whatever. You got Gung Shot to deal with stuff like Mega Gardevoir trying to switch in. Zedhub is just for stab. It's good for Infernape, but that's about it. Because I think without I don't remember the calcs actually, so I'm not gonna say it, but like I think if I remember correctly, like Zenhubba was needed to kill Infernape one shot, but maybe not. Maybe not. I think maybe like Gung Shot might have killed anyways. But yeah. And anyway, last up is Drain Punch as well. Strong hit for the stronger hit on Hydreigon, basically. So yeah, that's my team. That was their overview, and let's just get on with the replay, I guess. Let me switch to this capture mode. All right, so I'm gonna should turn the music off. I'm gonna switch sides. All right, so this is what he brought. He decided to bring double grounds actually instead of bringing Regieleki, which I kind of disagree with. I didn't have a lot of good electric resist. Landers is one, obviously, but it can get worn down pretty quickly throughout a game. And yeah, like I had a Roselia too, but like Roselia against Regieleki, yeah, no, that's not super great. And Regieleki can try to run like physical, can run like a mixed spread just to like try to fuck with me too. As I said, it has acrobatics, and it can definitely deal with Roselia that way. So yeah, looking at the lead matchup here, I was thinking like, well, Rotom looks pretty decent. I don't die to any one hit from anything here, for the most part. Here I can lead it and get like early Toxics or whatever. So that's what I do. Yeah, so he leads Infernape. And I was like, well, obviously he's not going to stay in, because if he stays in, I kill it. And he has a very, very healthy high Science right there. So I just predict him to go for the U-turn. Judging from the damage, it wasn't choice banded, so I was thinking like this is probably the Scarfer, but he could be running double Scarf, so it could be Infernape and Hydreigon both running Scarf. So we gotta make sure, gotta be careful about that still. So go size of toe here. I'm gonna get off by Toxic. Very good, I like 100% need that. I go to Bronzong here, as he's obviously not going for the ground move, and since I have Levitate, I can definitely 100% bluff that I am Levitate, and this works out pretty well for me. So he goes for Power Whip's not doing much, obviously. I'm just going to go for the Iron Defense here. He goes to Hydreigon here. And he's worried about the body press, obviously, so he's going to switch. He goes for U-turn first, because obviously he's faster. He goes to Donphan. So, I really didn't expect him to bring Donphan all too much. If I thought he was going to bring a ground type, I thought he was just going to bring Seismitoad. And, like, so I said before, I was expecting him to bring Infernape, Hydreigon, Celesteela, and Mega Gardevoir, and then either Seismitoad plus Regieleki or Hail. So I didn't expect him to bring Donphan at all. And, you know, this kind of came back to bite me a little bit because Bronzong got absolutely demolished. Like, I was doing decent damage to the Donphan, and he was super worried about me being Levitate, but he never scouted for it, which is definitely, you know, I mean, Earthquake wouldn't have done much to me, but because I was Iron Defense up, but like still, you probably should have scouted for it. Well, to be fair, you know, Bronzong's usually run Levitate, so why would I be running Heat Proof? But I was running Heat Proof. He brings in Celesteela. I think I Iron Defense up again. This was like a misplay on my part. I should have just gotten some damage and then switched out later. But I get some damage here. Flamethrower is doing not much, as I said. You know, Heat Proof. But you know, I'm taking a lot of shit with Bronzong, so you know, Bronzong's like already dead pretty much at this point. I switched to Rotom Wash here on the Flamethrower. He gets a Lucky Burn, which kind of sucks, but you know, we'll just have to deal with it because you know, negating my leftovers is pretty bad. I go for the Wisp here. He goes for Leech Seed. You know, pretty standard Celesteela stuff. I decided to hard switch here because if this is the turn I should Volt Switch, and you know, obviously he has a ground type. I don't want to take more Leech Seed chip because my leftovers is already being negated by the burn. So you know, I'm just gonna hard switch here. I decided to hard switch into Hoopa because it's burned. He pulls the switch into Gardevoir though, which is really bad for me. So you know, obviously I can't stay in, otherwise I'll die. So I'm just gonna go ahead and try to sack my Bronzong here. He goes Mega Gardevoir. He goes for Wish, and here I should have it should have been obvious that he went to Donphan, and his Donphan was Rocky Helmet, as I already figured out earlier. So I should have gone for literally anything besides Gyro Ball, but that's what I do. So critical hit does 14, and I get knocked out by the Rocky Helmet. Donphan's back up to a decent amount. So you know, Toady Hody gets first blood here. Not looking super great for me. And then I pull the trigger switch into Hoopa, which is not the right play because Choice Band Hyperspace Fury doesn't even kill this thing at this percent. So I have to immediately pull the switch back into Rotom. I mean, I guess I scouted for Earthquake. Like, yeah, that's not a good idea. Like, obviously he has Earthquake. So, yeah, I wasted one of his PPs, I guess. No. I should have just went straight to Rotom. There's no reason to do that. So now, I know behind, so I'm just like, okay, I'm going to start making those signature double plays, you know. Gotta be saucy, dude. So I just go hard Beedrill into the Seismitoad. I predict the Seismitoad switch in because, you know, Rotom's there. And he also pulled a switch into Gardevoir last time. Last time he thought he was going to switch into a Rotom. So this also works out because I'm obviously going to be faster than my Gardevoir and going to kill it with Poison Jab. So I go Beedrill here. I'm just going to get my Mega Evolve. I'm going to get U-turn out. U-turn does nice 41%. I go into Hoopa Unbound. I basically don't really have good Scald switch-ins, especially since the Rotom's burned. So basically I'm just like, please don't burn. And I don't get the burn. He gets a crit though, but like, yeah. Hoopa's still at a decent enough health. It can actually stomach, I don't know if it can stomach a Life Orb Draco Meter, but it can stomach a Life Orb Dark Pulse, I'm pretty sure, at this percentage. Don't quote me. Actually, do your calcs. Do your calcs, kids. Don't ever quote me. Anyway, I'm at a point where Hyperspace Fury is going to two-shot. Thankfully, Hyperspace Fury does not make contact, so you know. It actually doesn't two-shot the Hydreigon, though. So, this Hydreigon's defensive. Unfortunately, I didn't really think about that. I just thought it was just going to be like an HP-invested Scarf. It could still be an HP-invested, like, offensive set. Which, no. It was pretty much like max HP at this point. So, like, I didn't think about that. But anyway, you know, obviously I still can't stay in because U-turn's still there, so I just pull a switch into Diancie, just in case you try to go for a Dragon move. He goes into Gardevoir. Since I have Gyro Ball, I'm just gonna be like, okay, I'm just gonna whack this thing right now, obviously. So, bam, almost a two. It is gonna be a two-shot if he stays in, so I decided to get my rocks up, which is good play because that mattered for later. You'll see why. Landers comes in on the Celesteela, gets the Seed Bomb off. You know. So, you know, he had Power Whip and Seed Bomb, so he clearly was really afraid of my Rotom, I'm pretty sure. I hope that's why he brought that. If he didn't bring it for that, I don't know. So I'm going to go for my Gravity here, and now, looking at this position, Gravity looks so good. Like, Earthquake looks so good. So I two-shot pretty much everything. Celesteela can't really do much to me. You know, Fernape dies, Hydreigon dies with the rocks, Gardevoir dies, Sasquatch dies with rocks as well, Donphan obviously dies, so, you know, I think what he should have done was sack something, because Celesteela was super important for him for dealing with the Mega Beedrill, because, well, I mean, yes, he has stuff to outspeed it with Infernape and whatnot, but, like, if I get up a substitute, like, suddenly, like, it's looking really bad for him. So, him staying in on the Earthquake here was a really bad move, IMO. I think this is, like, the one big misplay he made, but, like, overall, he did play really well, though. Like, I'm not trying to, like, offend him or anything, or, like, try to, like, downplay him or whatever. Like, he did play pretty well. So he gets a crit there. It sucks. It does suck because, you know, like, I'm already, like, losing a lot of health from leech seed and whatnot. So, anyway, I get the kill here with Donphan, which is, I think, what he should have done immediately. And then he could have gone to something else to throw my Landorus out. He goes to Mega Gardevoir here. I decided to sack the Landorus because now this gives me a clean switch into Mega Beedrill. And if you look at the position here, Mega Beedrill looks really, really good. So, go to Mega Beedrill. Obviously, he's scared about taking Poison Jab, so he switches into Celesteela. I get a substitute up. Also, throughout this game, you know, with the Earthquake that I did to the Celesteela, I realized that this Celesteela was Spadef, which is kind of what I expected considering Steel Flying is good enough to deal with my physical attackers. So that's really good, because now I know that knockoff will kill, like 100%. So I go for the knockoff, it kills, super good. And now it's looking pretty bad for him, right? Like, Infernape, if it stays in, he's gonna die, because, like, if he tries to go for Flare Blitz, he's gonna die, because, you know, Substitute's up, he can't break it. If he breaks it with Flare Blitz, I'll kill him with Poison Jab, especially after rocks and the chip from Flare Blitz. Sasquatch does take 2, though, so he makes the right play here. He takes any 2 hits, so I get the knockoff, you know, he breaks myself with Scald, and then I Poison Jab just in case he's trying to pull this cheeky switch. He goes Infernape here. So at this point, I'm just like, well, if he goes for close combat, trying to predict my switch, well, like, obviously I'm going to switch you. So I'm going to switch into Rotom, because Rotom isn't super useful right now. Like, it's slower than everything here, and it doesn't do much damage, except for Infernape. And the Infernape goes for close combat, like, I'm going to die. So, at this point, like, Rotom's pretty expendable, so I'm going to try to sack that. And if he goes for close combat, and he'll kill my Rotom, then suddenly I get to go back to Beedrill, because Beedrill 4 times resist, 4 times resist close combat, and if he's Scarf, he has to go for close combat again, so I'll kill it. And if he's not Scarf, well, I'm faster, so I'll kill it. So I just sack Rotom, or try to sack Rotom. He does go for Fire Punch, and, well, that's great for me. So now I get to Volt Switch, because he should not stay in. And even if he does stay in, I just get to go Diancie. And, you know, Diancie does pretty well here. Moonblast actually, after Volt Switch, Moonblast pretty much kills everything. So, yeah, very good for me. So he goes to the Gardevoir here. He sacks it on the Volt Switch. Good play on him. Well, not really. Actually, I mean, like, he didn't really have much other option. If he went Hydreigon, like, if he went Hydreigon, like, my Diancie would still have to come down. Like, yeah, no. I think at this position I was gonna get a kill regardless, and basically I'm in the win composition now. So I go Beedrill here. He's gonna go to Hydreigon, and I see that it's Boots now. So here's where I might have misplayed a little bit, depending on the Hydreigon spread. I never asked Toady Hody about the Hydreigon spread afterwards, but like this was like max HP, max defense Hydreigon. Like it would have been able to take a Poison Jab actually. Which is what I go for here. Spoiler alert. Cause like it kills. It just kills. So it doesn't really matter. So like if it was max HP, max defense, it would have been able to take the Poison Jab. I would have lost Beedrill, and then it would have been a lot more ambiguous as to see who would have won. Because if I lost Beedrill, close combat's pretty free against my team. So yeah. I don't think it was max HP, like, a lot of defense, though. That would have been pretty crazy. And, like, I think Poison Jab still was in range to kill. So, I don't think I really misplayed this turn. So he was basically trying to bait out a U-turn so he can go into Infernape. I think that would have helped him a lot. But, like, I think at the end of the day, I still would have won. So I just go for Poison Jab here. Obviously, Infernape's going to die, because let's go. It's adaptability Beedrill, like, and... So yeah, I just end up winning the game with Beedrill there. So, So, Tony says he threw hard in the match. I think the only turn he really misplayed was the Celestial turn against the Lando. Like, he should not have stayed in there. Other than that, though, I think he played pretty well. So yeah, I won. It's kind of apparent there. And Beedrill's actually looking pretty good. He got 4 kills in this game. Just what I like. Beedrill's my favorite mecha, so being able to get a lot of kills in my favorite mecha is pretty cool. So yeah, that's the battle. Next week, I think I'm fighting Vandasaurus, which is our last season's champion, which is yeah, it's not intimidating at all to fight that guy. So we're just gonna see what happens. I heard he's improved a lot. I don't know. I'm sure he's gonna be a challenge, obviously. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.